Today we're going to take a look at Nique Clifford. If I were his trainer, maybe I would emphasize his upcoming offseason. I watched about 340 clips of him so far, which obviously isn't a lot in of itself, but they're recent clips. And I have a few thoughts, but I wanted to touch on one thing specifically here. There's some others I'll briefly mention throughout. If we just go look at his three-point percentage and his free throw percentage, those are the two big things that stand out to me, right? He is going to be a 3-and-D guy, as most guys are, to start their career, unless you're just the star, which very few are straight out the gate. Not everybody can be a Cooper Flag. So shooting 32%, shooting 69.6% for the player he is, the caliber player that he is nowhere near his standards. And I think that's going to have to be the big focus, from a strategic standpoint, because at the end of the day, you're competing for minutes, and minutes are valuable. So not that he doesn't do other things on the court, because he has excellent length. His ability to get in the lane and make plays is exceptional. Continuing to work on his body movement, swiveling his hips more. I think he could continue to work on his decision-making in the lane, especially as he's coming off versus drop coverages and he's kind of getting back to the middle, off a snake, or maybe they ice it. He's getting back to that middle, but that's not the point of this video. I want to highlight his shooting specifically. So if we look right away, jump shots below average, catch and shoot poor. To be a 3-and-D guy, to earn more and more minutes, and not that he's not going to get it as basketball players, and not even just that, when it's in your character to want to be great and be exceptional at what you do, you care about every little detail. You care about every little thing that you can improve upon. This is not a criticism. This is not a critique of his game at all. This is just something I notice about his game. So I want you to watch his form as he releases the ball. And you're going to notice his arm is kind of pointed out to the side. I made the mistake in my career, and not that I played anywhere near the level or I was half the player that he was. I made the mistake of trying to change my jump shot. And so when I look at these things and I analyze these things, and if I were somebody's trainer or player development guy, my thought process would be I would try to fix everything other than actually completely rearranging his jump shot. You don't want to go in full demolition mode. You want to find the things that you can touch up here and there that aren't necessarily going to overhaul everything he's ever done and worked on for his entire career. I want you to pay attention specifically to his right hand as he goes and releases his ball. Do you see it? Do you see that little movement? Look at that hand. So that hand is pointed to the right as it's coming out. His arm is shifting back to the left. Do you see that arm movement? Boom. That gets it straight. There's a difference between when the ball was released and where he's finishing it. So I was thinking about, okay, so then if he's shooting like that, his arm's already pointed out. He's not getting his hand completely under the ball. Then I start thinking about, okay, if he's doing that movement with his arm, it's going from right to left. Then he's putting some sort of spin on it sometimes, or the ball is coming off either way. Then I'm like, how many shots of his catch and shoot misses are missed left or right? I didn't count any misses that were long and it looked like greater than 50% of the ball was in the cylinder, or short and it looked like greater than 50% of the ball was in the cylinder. I didn't count those. In this, out of his 65 catch and shoot misses, according to Synergy, he had about 34% that I saw. And this is all up to my eye. So obviously I'm a human. I can make errors. 33 to 34% of his misses were off to the left or off to the right. And I think in large part that has to do with a couple things, but because of how his shooting arm is already pointed when he catches, shoots, and releases the ball, I think it's just a natural thing. That's one of the major things that I noticed about his jump shot. And I'll play a couple other clips just to show the follow through and where it ends up. As the ball is out of his hands, look where his right hand is pointed towards. See that? Then look at the next frame. Boom. See that subtle snapback? It's very discreet. But that's why I think he's missing to the left and right a little bit, and he's maybe not shooting as consistently as he can. Then I look at the most accurate three-point shooter as of this year, Tari Eason, and as we analyze his form, first of all, his elbow's already locked and it's under, so I wouldn't change that as a player development guy. I wouldn't even worry about that because Nique's shot is Nique's shot. Now you got to work on the little things that are more manageable that won't completely throw off everything he's ever worked for. The basketball hoop doesn't move. Because the hoop doesn't move, my focus with shooting, and when I try to teach it, is always ending as soon as the ball comes out of our hands, we're ending it straight at the rim, right? We want to end it at this object, this circle, this cylinder that's not moving. If we end it to the right, to the left, we're putting side spin, we're moving the ball in a certain type of way, that's not going to get us to where we want to go. It's a straight line to where you have to shoot. The other thing I noticed with Nique, his feet are very spread apart. If you compare this to other good shooters in the NBA, like Tari Eason, look at his feet, Taurean Prince, look at his feet. It's a big difference. I've always believed that less is more with shooting. The more spread out your feet are, and by the way, when I was watching these 340 clips, I saw a fair amount of clips of long twos, catch and shoot long twos, where you move your foot back half an inch. It's a three-pointer, which makes a difference. As your feet are more spread apart, you're covering more distance. It's just more movement than what I think is needed. The less movement, the better. We see that he dips it all the way down to the top of his knee. Look how he brings the ball out in front of him, right? It's almost like he's scooping it up instead of bringing it straight up tight to his chest. I think I would also work on, as he's catching and shooting, how far apart are his feet.